a fairly sizable headache today. So I'm going to make sure that I drink a lot of water. And we're going to be working on the game today. I think I actually want to be on live stream too. So that way, when I launch test windows and stuff, you'll be able to see it. Because otherwise you'll only be able to see my code. I'll set it up like that. That way I can still see chat and everything. If anybody chats about this. But yeah, I started working on this again yesterday. And as you can see, we've got kind of a gray background here. And I kind of had little text all over just indicating what you needed to do. But I want to get it to be in a more refined place. And you can kind of see in Battle Zero, which is the tutorial, I got it a little bit more. I have an assets layer here that I went ahead and put a little background in. So now you can actually, like, there's a background. But yesterday what I was working on was actually having a background here as well, but it won't show up in the preview window because it's conditional. I have it changing depending on what zone the player is in. Yeah, I think actually for Battle Zero I'm gonna have to go to Instance Layer and then move him over a little bit. So that way it'll be more comparable. So if I go and run, I can show you kind of what I've been working on so far. I'm just gonna skip the opening. I guess I can show the tutorial. I'm just gonna probably turn up the volume a little bit. Yeah, the last kind of big update I did was updating all the character sprites and their images, which I think looks a lot better now. Oh no! I broke it. Oh, I know what the problem is. Easily repaired. Yeah, because what's happening is I haven't gone to the main map yet, so I have not yet set global zone. But that's fine. I can set it in another object. Like life stats. I'm like 80% sure that this is going to override the intended background, but let's see what happens. There is one other way that I can deal with it too. I just need to add an additional value, like global zone equals 0. Unfortunately, there's not a way to skip this dialogue. So what we want to see is a town, but I think what we're gonna see is forest. Let's see what happens here. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Alright, so I have to do it that way. So instead, we're gonna say global zone equals 0. And then, when we go to... I have to make a sprite. I have a sprite already. Sprite battle 0. So I don't have to make a sprite. I just need to go to my battle objects and object control. And I need to, in the create event, add another case. So we're going to say if the case equals 0, we're going to use sprite battle 0. And let me make sure that sprite battle 0 is the correct size. It should match the other ones. So desert is 1024 by 512. It's not the right size yet. 1024. Apply. Now it should work. Oh, wait. Just kidding. I have to do one more thing. I have to add the layer. So I'm actually going to take out this asset layer because it's not going to do anything. We are going to delete this layer. And then I am going to add layer, create new instance layer. I'm going to name it, rename layer, backgrounds. And then I'm going to move it below. So it's actually in the background. Now it should work. Now it should work. And we do this one more time. I'm glad now that I went up to do the tutorial, because I didn't realize I had broken it by, because I did the tutorial first and I did it in a different way. As I said, I did it the asset layer way. But the other battles I did in the backgrounds way, and I forgot that also affects the tutorial. It's not coded separately, so. But it should work now. Welcome to coding. Constantly messing up and then fixing your mistakes. That's basically how it works. Moment of truth. There it is. Okay, so as you can see, I kind of have stuff all over the place. Like, here's where the thing is supposed to be. Here's attack power, enemy health. This I already moved down here. So what I'm wanting to set up is to have all of these little things be down here where it'll be more visible. So this is kind of like your battle menu. I'll also move him up a smidge. He's kind of on the borderline here. But yeah, then, you know, the Elder is saying his stuff, which that's totally visible, which works out well. double checking that the all the dialogue works properly. It should. I didn't really change anything about it. Yeah, okay, that's how it's expected. So you can barely see what you're supposed to type, but it's up here above this tree. And yeah, we're gonna move that. Oh, it's a Q. And we're also gonna move the, you know, how you did, okay, blah blah blah. I think I'm gonna put all of that stuff here. I might actually move items over a tad. I don't know if it needs to be like at 100x. I might move it to like 50. Just because I have, you know, it's valuable real estate down here. What I kind of want to do is have sort of your combat central things be here. And then have items and ability menu over here. And then once you have party members, I kind of want that to be over here. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So let me just take out this enemy really quickly using my cheat code. And see, there's the victory notice. Again, it's kind of in the background, so we need to move it down here. But yeah, if we go out of the town now, see another thing, I'm gonna buy an item. It's another sprite that I need to fix is the store. It just says store. Just kidding. Oh wait, no, I can buy chicken. So now I have more than one thing in my inventory. Okay, so now if I'm down here, I'll walk around for a little bit, get to a fight. Okay. Well, that is the anticipated thing, yes. Yep, that looks good. If I go to items, they need to be spaced out just a little bit more because they're kind of running into each other. I think I have them spaced 25 pixels apart, so they might need like a little bit more space. I want them to be somewhat close together because the list can get long, but maybe like maybe like 40 pixels apart. These guys are gonna kill me. And we're just gonna test to make sure that death works properly and that when we return we are back at the proper spot. I actually kind of feel like I want him to be more upward, like more centered. I feel like he's a little too low. No, you're definitely dead. I also wish he didn't look as sloppy as he did. It kind of looks like he was made in paint, which, I mean, he sort of was. Oh, yep. And we're back in the same spot. Okay, so that works. We're just going to go ahead and close this up. So, let's see. What's the first thing that I want to address? These guys are up too high. This guy is a little too low. So we're going to move him up Battle instances. Move him up. I can even move him up too. That'll probably be in a good spot. These guys are up too high. We're gonna drag them down a little bit. Yeah. Kind of like that. We'll see how that looks. Okay. So the next thing that I want to do is close up sprites. We're going to go to our battle objects. Battle background, battle menu. Battle menu is appearing properly. Character menu. Right. So So for this, although I was talking about moving everything to 50 instead of 100, so maybe I should do that first. So we're going to try drawing it at 50 X position. It's at 525. Okay, and then abilities menu, same deal. We're going to draw it at 50 so that it is closer to the edge. 50. I'm just adjusting all of the menus right now. There are a couple. And specifically the X value. Okay, so that's the abilities menu. I also need the character menu. We're adjusting this from 600 to 50. Oops. And the Y, we need to drop down to, let's say, 525. Whoops. Accidental space. Okay. So it's a 525. Actually, it might be okay starting at, maybe I just need to make this bigger. Instead of making it 10, make it 25. That might actually fix the problem. Rather than needing to start like on a lower line or anything like that. So this is 525, which should work. I'm gonna make this 525 as well. And then I also need to do the item, wait. No, I already did the items menu because it just happened to be open. And then type display. 525. That. Because this I want to appear in the middle because it's not like the other stuff. And then I also need to do control. And it's draw event. So we have enemy health, attack power. Okay, so this is the letter. So I want that to appear at probably about 500 and 525. Okay. And then this is attack power and enemy health. I'll want it to appear in line. Probably. Possibly a little bit behind so that it's centered, but we'll see about that. And then the Y value is going to be a bit lower, so let's say like 600. And then the enemy health, I'll try putting it in line as well. We'll see what that looks like. And we'll put that at like 725. Get rid of 0. Okay, and then the HP of other characters I think I'm going to want on the rightmost side. So that's going to be... Okay, so right now I have them set up by their characters. So I'm going to leave that alone for now, especially since as I go into this test, I'm not going to have any characters anyway, so we'll just wait a minute. Okay, gonna go up and do the tutorial again. Go up and do the tutorial again. Oh, do tutorial. Ba ba da ba. Looking better. I do like it at 50. Oh, I'm having, that won't do. I'm having the things are appearing in the same spot. Okay, so I need to move, let's say I move the, okay, first of all, I think I'm going to line them up at like maybe 450 instead of 500. But secondly, 500 and 525, if I go to the type display, I bet it's at the exact same spot. Yep. So I need to move that down. Say 575. And then If we go back to control, I'm gonna make this 625 to give a little bit more space. And then I'll make this 700 because it was a little bit low. Wait, did I already do Object Victory? I did. Okay, that should work. One more time. That looks a bit better. That looks pretty good too. Now, if I go and do a regular fight, let me get a second item so that I can test the item spacing. Okay, I still need to move those. If I go to items, it's looking a bit better. They could actually be spaced less. Like I might do 20 instead. Or even 15. So let's see, that's items menu? Items menu. Yeah, 25 is too much. Let's try 15. And same thing for abilities menu. Actually, abilities menu can be spaced out a little bit more because they are, there's not going to be as many of them. Because now the only question is whether it's confusing. Because it's like, the information is legible now, but it's also like... okay, let me go back to control. Need the step event. Yep. Yup, 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 yup. That's for testing. Victory. I need whatever happens when you do a hit. Might be in a script. I did this a long time ago, so I don't super remember. This is enemy targeting. That's not what I'm looking for. Would it be in the enemy? Or perhaps the fighter? Yeah, that's when it. So that's when it does the hit, but the actual text itself is somewhere else. It would make sense if it's in control. I'm just not seeing it. Does it have its own object? Haha! It has its own object. Okay, well, that explains that. And there's the draw text. Okay. So where do I want to put it is the question. Do I put it in the 500, kind of in line with everything else? Maybe in between, like put it at 600. Especially since the type line should be clear by then. Try that. I'm not gonna do the tutorial, I'm just gonna go straight out there. Whoa. You can't stop me. I need to save my wife. Random encounters do be random, though. How goes navigating the spaghetti? Well, I just walked from my opening town to town 1 without doing an encounter, because random be random. I am trying to get to an encounter so that I can test this out. How are you doing, Super Bass? There we go. Alright. Okay, yeah, I feel like that works. Them some tiny sprites, yeah. I could try to make them bigger during battle, I suppose, but then I feel like it would be out of scale with the trees. That looked proper. Last time you saw a sprite that small, you asked for another. A golden rule, gameplay over aesthetic. For sure, but I'm trying to make it so the aesthetic doesn't suck. Make it work first. I mean, it has been working. This game has been done for a while. It's just... it looked like crap, so I didn't want to release it. You can see I have slightly more fancy tiles and stuff on the map now. There's trees and grass. How does the game determine the internal words to use? What does that mean? For your attacks, it's not words, it's random letters. So I can show you. It would be in the control. So here's my battle system here. So basically I set a random number, a random integer from 1 through 26. I have an alphabet string, and then what I do is I essentially pick a random character in that string based on the random integer. Did you follow? Incidentally, this code is new. I just did this yesterday. It's how I am setting the background for the battles. You had an idea of a combo system where the game picks various fight-related words. The words range from easy to hard and go into distinct libraries of words. Every word you get right in a row gives you a combo, and higher combos mean more damage but harder words. So instead of just typing random letters, have it actually be words. Sorry, I'm enjoying the Quadlin music. Yeah, I mean, it's something to consider. When I when I conceived of this game, I didn't really think of it as a typing game. I thought of it as using the keyboard as a big complicated controller. And so the letters being inputs rather than like actually spelling anything. Heard of the game Typing of the Dead. I believe you have mentioned it to me before. There's also a game that I got on Steam that I got specifically because it's a typing like RPG adventure game, and I was like, oh no, that sounds like my game. Only they probably did it better. Friend of yours was coincidentally playing it yesterday. Huh, okay. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's something where letters are so tied to semantic meaning that it would be weird if the letters weren't spelling words. That said, if I were to make it as like words instead of letters, I'd have to completely scrap the current battle system I currently have. Granted, it's only 3 lines of code, but I would have to completely redo it. Probably the way that I would do it would be to set up an array that has all of the word values in it, and then actually, yeah, it probably wouldn't be too bad, because I would probably just do a single array, actually like a dictionary probably. I don't know if GameMaker has dictionaries. It might just be an array anyway, but have the words all be stored as individual values in the array and then use the random number in order to do them. Like, it wouldn't be that different. I would just have to like redo it and like come up with the different words and stuff for it. If we go back in here, whoops, I sometimes forget that I should actually change that. I should make it, well, maybe I shouldn't, but WASD doesn't work for moving around. Is there a way for the game to detect a missed character? What do you mean? Like, if you type the wrong letter? Yeah, your attack power goes down. I believe that is in the step event. Yeah. Yeah, so I do a keyboard check, and if the letter being pressed matches the global letter, you go up in power. And else, I actually ran through the alphabet because I wasn't sure how else to do it. If the keyboard check pressed is A, but the global letter is not A, you lose a power. I couldn't figure out how to do it in just one statement, so I did it in 26. Because I'm, like, not a good coder. But it works! Yeah, so basically, if you get it right, your global power increases, and another random letter is chosen. So this would be like the same thing, but... And see, that would be interesting too, because I'm not sure how... If it were words, I'm not sure how I would... Yeah, power is displayed. Let me get back into a battle real quick. Clearly it's not displayed, obviously, but it is displayed. Okay. We're gonna go back out and we're gonna go fight some stuff so that I can show you where the power is displayed. Do 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 do. See? Attack power right here. And it goes up as you type things correctly. And then it's like, good. Now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of feel like I should separate the attack letter from the current type string in order to be like less confusing. Also, I need to move where the animation is because I moved the character. So now she's just healing a random spot. Yeah, see, lots of things that I need to fix up. Yeah, but I'm wondering if I should put that string at like a different place. Maybe even above the items menu. The attack letter is displayed over the enemy. Originally I had it like in the center of the screen. But I felt like it was too hard to read. And maybe it's something where instead of just having a specific letter that's typed out, if I had a sprite that was like a more like bolded letter, like artistic in some way, and you know, the value's still the value, but when it's this value, display this sprite. Like, okay, so if I were to go over here, so right now the way that I do it is this line right here. So draw text, and I just do draw the global letter. But what I could do is, again, like 26 lines, you know, like a case switch statement, where if the global letter value is A, I could make it so that display this sprite, which is like a bolded A, you know? Yeah. And if it was a sprite too, I could like add some animations to it. Like if you get it right, it could like, you know, sparkle or something. And if you get it wrong, it can like shake like, no, that's not right. And I could just have it, the gears be turning. Yeah. Me in thought. But yeah, cause that way it would be a bit more visible. And then I just have everything else kind of in that type box at the bottom. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Hang on, I also want to get into another area so that I can test and make sure that the different backgrounds are working. That's what I was working on yesterday. They are indeed. That's 2 hours in a row. Happens occasionally. It's random. That's something that I kind of always struggled with in terms of, I know a lot of games are only like semi-random. I only know how to do random, man. Like, oops, there we go. Okay, and you can see her HP is like right here, but I kind of want to move this to maybe over here. What's the string for determining random battles? That is in my encounter, which is not in this folder. It's in the overworld folder. And it is in the, oh, it's not in step event. It's in the create event? I made it so long ago, I kind of don't remember. Does my game have a step counter? It doesn't. When you are stepping, like when you are moving around, okay, alarm. I think it is an alarm 5. Yeah, so, yeah, this is the actual encounter code. So, basically, if you are in a specific zone, every little bit of time, I forget the actual unit of time, you will get a eye in a random range. So, and if you have cloaking on, it'll be a wider range. So essentially, not necessarily every couple of steps, but like every little bit of time when you're moving, you're rolling a die. You're rolling a d20, essentially. And if it comes up on 1, you go into a battle. If it comes up on 2, you go into a battle. If it comes up on 3, you go into a battle. And if it comes up on any other number, you just keep walking. And once you get into other zones, the number gets smaller, right? So that means you're more likely to go into a fight. Because as you're getting closer to the final enemy, there's more like bad guys walking around. If you can ever figure that one, what you can do is have a game set to step counter to 0 after a battle, increase by 1 each step, and then you can set the encounter check to include if a value is below X, encounter is skipped. To try to avoid, people taking 2 more steps and then you have another battle. It's a decent point. And then to like clear the step counter afterward. It'd be another freaking global variable though. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Most of the time, honestly, I find the problem is not back-to-back battles. It's sometimes I'm walking around and I just don't get a battle. It's a side project, yeah. So let's keep going. Oh yeah, I added a body of water to the map. when you have encounter forgiveness like that, you can be a little more merciless with the RNG itself. I'm just gonna go ahead and close that now. Yeah. I'll put a note about that. Because it's a good idea. Yeah, the problem is, I don't know how I would count steps. That's kind of my issue is, how would I do that? Because would it just be every certain number of frames when you're moving? I guess. Yeah, I have to think about that some more. I'm sure somebody has spelled it out on the internet too, and I can just like take it. She knows a bit of game coding, yeah. Um, I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break, get a snack and stuff, and I'll be back in a little bit. Probably like 5 minutes or something. I actually closed the Twitch window. Here's a creator dashboard. Ba 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 ba. I got some strawberries. I'm pretty pleased. They are good. I'm kind of trying to decide what I want to do first. So this is totally the wrong spot. So we got 450, 420, roughly. Actually, $450, $385. Yeah, $450, $385, I would say. And he's not in the same place. They all need to be in the same spot. Something you won't believe you on, you have a working divinity build Inspire, and it isn't just play Blasphemy and win. That's awesome. I try to go for divinity time and again. So 450, 380. One more. Hang on. Get this little dude out of the way first. One more? Yeah. Okay, so that's the correct tile. Okay, yeah, that seems right. Okay, hang on. Get this little guy out of the way too. Okay. Yeah. So that's a consistent location. I'm actually gonna write that down really quick. Want to hear something you won't believe? Oh, that was the same one. That was the same one. I didn't notice that there was a funny face afterward. Maybe I want them kind of like surrounding him. Something else I had considered is like, maybe they should be jumping forward to do their attacks or something. When I click into the game and programming, can you not see it? It's live screen too. It should be just be capturing my entire screen. Everything else does work and has worked for a while. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. This is my overworld. I've been doing a lot of work on it. Has a body of water now. Try to make it a little bit more interesting. It still kind of looks like crap, but I feel like it looks less like crap. Which, you know, it's what you want. Less like crap. We've got some mountains. You know. Yeah, at this point, the game functions. Like, it works. And it has worked for, I don't know, a year? Maybe a little less than that. So now I'm just trying to get it to not look like crap. So if we go to, I don't know if it would be healer or if it would be in a script. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. No. I'm trying to drag. I need to click and then hit space and then move it. So I keep adding spaces to my code. Not that it'll break it, it just makes it ugly. Yeah, target heal. So if I go to my scripts and I go to target heal. Haha. Okay, so if we're doing non, we want it to be at position 450, 385, hopefully. And that's, you know, at the top, you know, that's not like where his head's at. So I'm hoping that'll line up properly. 5. And then the other ones are just other people's HP, and then non again. So again, that is what? 450, 385. Comment your code, ladies and gentlemen. It really helps later. It's like, I wouldn't know what this is. Okay. So now, when she heals, it should look proper. So let's run and go get her real quick, and then see if when she heals it looks right. Nope, not gonna do the tutorial. I answer to no man. We're gonna go straight up. We're gonna immediately kill people. We're just gonna go and get her. Yeah, I definitely need to move them apart from each other. Because it's confusing. Yeah, I got some gold. We're gonna go have a talk. We're gonna go have a talk with her. We're gonna have her join the party, and we can see where her healing aura goes. Nice. You got to it or you killed it. Okay, end of the song. 3 times you did meditate into worship and into Ragnarok. That's how we do. Yeah, the more that I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, I need to make these letters like animated, like flying above the scene in fancy pants. She's about to heal. So not quite the right location. It needed to be more. It needs to be more to the, like another square up and to the left. It also might just need to be smaller now that the models are smaller. Meditate Plus is 2 cards. Oh. Oh, did you also have Apparition? So, like, let's take a look at this. So, if instead of here, it was like here? Might also just need to be smaller. Or the character models themselves need to be bigger. One does not simply get to sub 40 HP with no apparition. Fair enough. Just make him bigger. I don't like it. I like them small. Bigger trees also gives you more space between them to work with. I feel like the models just look crappy bigger. I also put the text on a floating sprite, which helps aesthetic and helps it stand out. What do you mean by a floating sprite? What do you mean by floating? Or are you just talking about what I was already talking about, which was to have like a sprite up here somewhere with the letter? Yeah. Yeah. Well, if I'm gonna do that, I guess that means going into GIMP for a while and just making making more sprites. Sometimes it just feels like it's just never done. Like I've been working on this thing for a little over 5 years at this point, and like I said, it's been a functional game for a long time. Not a long time, but like for maybe about a year. And now it's just trying to make it not look like crap. And I feel like that is the part that I'm just the worst at. You know, I can compose the music. I can come up with the programming for how to make the game work. You know, I can come up with the story. That's not the issue. I feel like I'm so aesthetically challenged sometimes. And I was really excited when I was seeing on Humble Bundle that they were making these game assets available. And I was like, oh, I can finally start using it. What was going to make the game look better if not sprites? Yeah, but like even just putting the mountains together, this took me like forever, and it doesn't even look that good. There's a reason that games are usually done by teams. Yeah, T-Bone keeps saying that I should like just hire somebody on Fiverr to just make the game look better, and that might be what I end up doing eventually. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of doing something just by myself, but like, I don't know. I also would like people to play the game, and I feel like people aren't gonna do that if it looks terrible. And it looks a lot better than it did. That's kind of like the even worse thing is that it used to be so much worse than this. Yep. I'd have the accomplishment of having done it by myself. Yeah. I would have the accomplishment of having done it by itself? By myself? Yeah. Yeah, it looks a lot better than it used to. It's just still not the greatest. All the empty space on the world map blotches of forest. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've added like some trees here or there. Some mountains there, but I don't know. I can't figure out like it's supposed to be kind of a post-apocalyptic thing, so it's supposed to kind of be a little barren, but I'm having trouble figuring out like where the right balance is between like barren and just boring. But like let's say if I were to open up GIMP, which is the photo editing that I do, image editing. And let's make something new. I don't know if it needs to be that big. Maybe like 64 by 64? Something like that. I'd actually like the background to be transparent if I could. There. There's probably a better way to do that, but a nice touch you can do, by the way, knowing how the game ends up, have the game's starting aesthetic, have the starting area's aesthetic match the ending areas. In order to kind of reinforce this cyclical theme. It's not a bad notion. I had kind of actually been going for opposites. You know, he starts off in this like southern little fishing town, and then the monster is way up in the snowy mountains. It's kind of like as far away as you could possibly be. But that's kind of the point. Gives a tiny sense of familiarity and comfort, but also loops back to the cyclical. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. But I think that I still prefer the idea of having it be as far away as possible and just kind of seeming like it's this impossible sort of task. Have a valley between snowy mountains. Yeah. This also lets you create a choke that naturally lets you guide the player to the first town. So essentially, instead of it having it be like a little fishing town, would be to also have mountains down in the south, but make it so that they can really only get to Duopolis. Yeah. It might be valuable in terms of story. I don't know. I kind of wanted to allow the player to roam as they wanted to. And, you know, you don't have to stop in all the towns if you want to. You technically don't have to stop in any town. You can just plunge forward and the town's by the only water in the area, and heading out means going through the town. Hang on. We're going to the map again. Yeah, town's by the only water in the area. So, like, having mountains here and, like, here. The other thing is that you can walk through mountains, at least as currently on the map. You cannot walk through water. That's what this dark blue is. You can't walk through that. But, like, if you're up in here, you can walk through these. So I'd have to make, like, another object to, like, stop the player from doing that. And actually, the reason why I put this body of water here was to try to route the player either south or north so that they would see that there are other towns rather than just going this way. So it would be easier to add more water if I were to do that. Yeah, high mountains. Yeah, I don't know. There's also the fact that it's really funny because I just finished cleaning all this up and everything, and now You just like mountains because the game ends in mountains. Hmm. It'd be the only 2 times in the game that you see snow. Yeah, I mean, I guess I just don't want it to be that way. You know, I'm I don't want the beginning of the game to be like the end of the game. Like I kind of understand what you're saying about having cyclicality and stuff like that. I just don't think I want it to be that way. Yeah. I It was an idea to fill the empty space around town. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would probably just fill it with trees or something like that. Yeah, honestly, when I think about like the hours of work that have gone into making this map, because I actually still have the original map too. Where is it at? It's I have it in a separate room, I think. This is what it used to look like. Um, and now it looks like this. If I zoom back out, which I think is more visually interesting. Is to try to kill most of the brown. Yeah. I mean, I could just make it frickin' green instead. um, you know, just because humans aren't thriving doesn't mean nature can't be thriving. It's another kind of thought. Can you use different shades of brown? Yeah. Yeah, I just, like, part of it is, like, I wish that things weren't so obviously square. And, like, I've tried to use the tiling and stuff to make it not look shitty, and I feel like it still looks shitty. And like I said, hours to make it look like this instead of this. And I do think that this looks better than that, but, like, not by a lot. So, I don't know. At some point, I might just throw in the towel and be like, yeah, I'm not good at this. I need someone else to do it. Now, there's also the fact that um, I probably need to redo it again or, like, move stuff around or move the coding around because the way that the zones are set up is they have a rectangle here and a rectangle here and then like 3 triangles. But it's like this triangle is not all mountains. There's only mountains here. So it's like I need to change either the map or the zones to reflect each other. And I'm just like, it's going to be hours and hours and hours and hours again to do that. And I don't want to. This is definitely like the crappiest part, the least fun part. And it's probably a big part of the reason why I have not been working on this for like 6 months. I mean, that and the extreme burnout I've been enduring. It's better mapping than Dragon Quest 1 had. Yeah. It also kind of bothers me how phallic this shape is. It was not intended, but it looks a little bit phallic, and I don't like that. But yeah. I mean, there's also the possibility of, like, maybe the map should be smaller. You know? Am I familiar with a peninsula of power? No. Basically, there was this common early trend in gaming where a high-level zone would overlap a low-level area. And basically, you'd have, like, one or two tiles where, don't go there, you'll die. Huh. Like a different color. Like gold or something. Like a big fatty A. But then, like, what about a different font? Alfredo. See, they have, like, a lot of different things. Like, oh, you have to actually click back in it. It's like, that's a big fatty A. But, I don't know. I'd have to kind of go through and see which ones I'd want to use, so. I don't know. Maybe that's the end of the stream for now. I'm feeling very discouraged and demoralized. Yeah, just even trying to figure out what I want it to look like, I'm just not really sure. The other nice thing, a new sprite to put on the letters, you don't have to worry about your sprite working on every background. No, it's not you. I do not like the graphical part of it. Like, you know, when I was a kid, I used to doodle a fair amount, like, especially during class lectures, because I was the kind of kid who did all the readings and just learned from the books, and then, you know, teachers had to go talk and whatever, and it's like, okay, I'm not really paying attention. And I would, like, draw the same sorts of things over and over. Like, I liked drawing eyes, like human eyes, and, like, trying to draw faces and stuff like that. But, I don't know, sometimes I wish that I had a more diverse interest of things that I liked to draw, and, like, had more of a kind of visual brain in that way. Graphics tend to suck early and then come together. They're often finalized super late for a reason. Yeah. I mean, hey, look at She-Hulk. Look at how crappy that she looks in that trailer. And I think that's part of the reason why they waited so long to even release a trailer. is because they've not quite gotten it right yet. But yeah, just trying to figure out. There's a couple of goals that I have before I feel like this game is ready to be played. One was changing the battle interface because it just, there was literally no background at all. And now that there is a background, I need to kind of move things around so that they're legible and, there's kind of game flow with it where it's, clear what you're supposed to do. If Big Time Hollywood can struggle with it, definitely means take some time in doing. Yeah. I wish I enjoyed the work a little bit more. I can compose all day long. Programming, that's fun. That's a great challenge. When you're trying to get a program to do something and then you do it, you kind of feel like a god, like it's cool. But my game has more effort put into it than most Steam shovelware. What's Steam shovelware? Is that like random little indie games? Yeah, my fear is that, I put so much work in it and I really love the story. I really like the gameplay aspect of it and how it's kind of different than other things. I like the game and I'm scared that nobody will play it if it doesn't look good. And so that's why I've been trying to basically minimum effort gains throughout another snatch a buck. Fair enough. Yeah, this is definitely a labor of love, for sure. I've even been thinking of other game ideas, and I'm like, no, I need to finish this one first. So I'm trying to force myself to do it, and it's a little bit difficult sometimes. And it might be something where it might be better for me to do it offline. You know how shovelware earns its bucks? By looking good. Yeah, but there are a couple things that I want to do. I want to fix up the battle so that it looks nice. I'd kind of been thinking about having some sort of animation or something for the letters when you type them, even before you mentioned it super base. I was kind of been thinking about that, so now I think I am going to do that, which means going into GIMP and making those, and then also, once you import them in and everything, I have to change the code a little bit so that those specific sprites are associated with specific letter keys. It shouldn't be too hard. I can kind of think about already how I'm going to do that, so I think that'll work okay. And then I need to fix the shop sprite still. That should be easy. I just need to make a building. And then I feel like I want cutscenes at the end, because right now it's just people standing and staring and looking at each other, and I would like them to be moving a little bit. I'm not totally sure how I'm going to do that, and that is going to be probably something that I have to look up online to see how other people have done it, because I'm not sure how you get a character sprite to move if you're not probably alarms and stuff, but yeah, I'm not quite sure how you would get them to move without inputs from the keyboard. I just haven't done it before. But those are kind of the last sort of things that I feel like I need to do. And I'm I feel incentivized to do it because T-Bone has said once the game is done, he'll play it. And I'm just yes, at least one person. At least one person will play it. But yeah, so it's kind of where I'm at on that. Yeah, so I do think that's probably going to be it for me today. I've got a little bit of a headache too, which maybe I shouldn't be trying to do this when I'm not feeling good, but these days it's just, sometimes it just doesn't feel like I have very many good days, so you're just going to wait forever and wait for your life to be over, or you got a brand new computer today? Ooh, you could be a tester. Yeah, definitely. And I think there probably are still a couple of bugs that I haven't found, just because, I mean, the game's not big, but I'm only one person, and you know how when there's like a mistake somewhere and like your brain has autocorrect and you don't see the mistake? I think it's kind of like that. So definitely valued. Yeah. Be well, stay swell. Thanks, Super Base. I hope that you and everyone have a good day today. I guess I can see if I can raid somebody. Hmm. Yeah, we'll raid Elwyn. Playing Slay the Spire right now. But she also does programming too, so her games look so much better. So have a good day, everybody. Please be sure to stay safe.